they just changed it now. It just says live recording. We'll figure it out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Long Distance Pizza Party Podcast, episode 22. We missed a week. Crad, well, not just Crad. Everyone had stuff going on. I was out of town, and because I knew I was out of town, but I didn't think I was going to be that out of town at that time. Because stuff happens. But we are all back, and we decided to pull someone from the God First Geek Second Discord, which we advertise every episode. So if you want to join that, links down below, along with our own links, including the Christian Assassin. You said you had some links, stuff you wanted to promote. Go right ahead, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I am the Christian Assassin. I am a content creator. I do a lot of stuff on TikTok. I post a lot of gaming content. I also have a deal with a company called Freshen Up. If you use code Assassin1138 at checkout, you will get 10% off of your entire order for all of their stuff. They do hydration, they do energy, and the great part about it is zero sugar. So it is a healthier alternative to energy drinks. I personally really love them. I had to test them out before I tried to enter into like any sort of business dealings with them. Exactly, because if you do something like that, if you don't test the product before advertising it, there's something wrong with you. But I stream on Kick, I stream on YouTube, so definitely go check those out on my website, christianassassin.com, where you will also find my merch, where I combine my faith with my super nerdy side. Trying to figure out some details on some new stuff, so stay tuned for that.
Nice. And
well, first of all,
this.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say this. So before we get started, because we were talking about a topic, Christian was not wouldn't say very last minute, but being added on, we were like, you guys brought up WWE. I'm like, I know nothing about WWE, and I'm not going to shoot you guys down. I thought that would make great content because I know nothing, and I'd like to us each to show our different interests. It makes better conversations instead of us just agreeing with each other every episode. We had a comment the other day, and the only reason it was made that way, Crad, I think it was an episode where for some reason Silly wasn't on the recording. Mm-hmm. He was there for us, but not for them. I don't know what happened. But there was some discussion we were having, and I couldn't use him, part of it, and I tried. But for some reason, he just was unhearable. Like, he wasn't even he wasn't even on the recording. And I can't figure out why, to this day, why that way. He was having some issue, or I was having some issue. But a comment was like, oh, you guys just agree with each other and just move on. Like, no, there was like another 10 minutes of a discussion we were having. But we were talking about WWE. Christian Assassin and I were talking about this beforehand while we were waiting for Crad. But before we get into that, we do have some guest questions for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hot seat. Because we are the Long Distance Pizza Party Podcast, we have all discussed our favorite pizza. What is yours? And don't say pineapple on pizza.
How did you know?
I didn't.
No, he's one of those people.
I'm not even kidding too. Like pineapple. Okay, here's my perfect pizza. Here's my perfect pizza. Pineapple, pepper, and mushrooms.
That's disgusting.
Wow, that wasn't seeing that one coming.
Pineapple, pepper, and mushrooms.
Apparently has an audience over there. Pineapple.
I know a lot of people that don't like pineapple on pizza.
I would rather have that than pretzel pizza. In all honesty.
What? Like a pretzel crust?
So Little Caesars had pretzel crust that was just caked in salt. It was maybe the worst thing I've tried.
Ugh. Ew.
And this man tries a lot of stuff.
It wasn't even an option to have no salt on it. Makes no sense.
So you're saying when you ate that, you were assaulted?
Yeah, my sodium. That was like my sodium intake for the week. Like, it was... Ugh.
So if it's okay, I'd actually kind of like to flip that a little bit around on you guys, but with a twist.
Okay.
What would be your perfect combination if you were to take pizzas from like different aspects of pizzas from the different chains like Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Domino's, and possibly even Little Caesars, because I know Little Caesars is getting back up into the ranks of how well liked their stuff is. If you had to craft the perfect pizza using aspects of each of those four chains, how would you build the pizza?
That's a
I'd
good
rather
question.
have like a Papa John crust. I like how their crust is. For some reason, I like how they do it. I don't know what I can. Then you combine it, I guess, with like Little Caesars crazy bread. I don't know. It's like that's a weird question for me because I like one company over the other. So it's really like a toss up, like with all of that, because like I think Papa John's even has the better toppings. So I don't know if I can properly answer that because I like more than the other.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So you're a Papa John stan.
Yeah. I've had more Papa John's than Little Caesars.
I don't know what, like as far as the cheese and stuff, but for the crust, at least the stuffed crust, I would go Pizza Hut.
I would definitely have to agree there. So here's how I would do. Here's how I would do it. I would take the stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, but I would take the crust seasoning from Domino's, and then have the cheesy garlic sauce from Papa John's. And then from Little Caesars, yeah, I'd probably have to go with the crazy bread.
Yeah. Fresh crazy bread, not the one that's been sitting there
Oh
all
yeah.
day.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
No.
Then again, who can go wrong with a $5 hot and ready pizza?
That's fair, especially when you pair it with their pineapple Pepsi. You know.
Oh, wait, pineapple Pepsi?
Right.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
It's
they have
like
that
the thing
actually.
they
It's a
brought
thing.
back. Yeah.
Huh.
I
gotta try that now.
It's actually not that bad.
I gotta try that now.
I actually really like it.
Well, considering you like pineapple on your pizza, you probably go crazy for it.
Well, I mean, hey, I like the pineapple Fanta. Pineapple Fanta is really good.
Yeah. You also have a peach Pepsi, which is I still need to try. You know.
For our second
Anyway.
guest question, I got one for him, Nathan. Real quickly before we
Okay,
dive
cool.
off on our topic. For our regular people that are normally here, myself, Nathan, Strange, Silly Boy, we've talked about what kind of church we were raised in or go to. So, I'm Pentecostal. Nathan, I think, is Pentecostal. If I remember correctly.
Yes.
He's Pentecostal. What about you?
I'm gonna make a slight joke here first, just as long as
you can do it.
Well, it's not a joke. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. You're not oneness Pentecostal, right?
No.
Okay. Just got to make sure because that is heresy. 100%. Oneness Pentecostal.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of oneness Pentecostal. This is interesting.
I'm gonna touch on it very, very briefly because this would have to be something that be discussed on a different episode if you choose to have me again.
Oh no, you're welcome on anytime.
So, oneness is essentially denies the Trinity. It denies the very triune essence of God. They believe that Jesus is the Father, essentially.
Jacob fought too.
Jacob fought too. Yeah.
Jacob fought too.
So, if you're not hearing, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa's younger brother, just debuted on SmackDown.
He's older than him.
Or older brother. Okay, I was corrected.
Sidebar, but anyway, yeah.
Sidebar to get that will caveat into our topic in a moment. But
yes,
personally. I was raised in a slew of different churches. I went to a Church of God when I was younger, and that's my earliest memory of going to church from 2005 to 2008. After that, we went to a Baptist church. After that, it was a Presbyterian, but I'm pretty sure it was a Presbyterian USA. I'm not 100% sure on that, but this was when we were out in Okinawa, because my dad's former military. He was in the Marine Corps. For those vets who are watching, support you guys. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do, most likely.
In the meantime, you and I will soldier on. I guess we'll start our wrestling antics and topics with what did you think of what happened Monday Night Raw the last 5 or 10 minutes or so?
Oh. Well, first, the obvious has to be pointed out that it was just a direct callback to Extreme Rules 2023 when Bray Wyatt, may he rest in peace, returned to WWE as Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
Which he would then give to his brother, Bo Dallas, so that way he could go back to being the Fiend.
Right.
And welcome back, Nathan. I see your internet decided to keep you around for a little bit longer.
I don't know what happened. It was fine, and then I got apparently.
Don't move or sneeze.
I have the worst.
You'll stay.
I know. Well, my problem was that so if you notice my background, usually my desk is on the other wall, and I moved it. So I'm wondering if that's my issue. I even went to Best Buy to find an Ethernet cable. I went to Best Buy to get Ethernet cable and forgot.
Yeah.
So, yay me! So what did I miss?
All right, so we touched a little bit more on what the Christian Session is. Basically, he is a what'd you describe yourself as? What kind of Baptist?
Reformed Baptist.
Reformed Baptist. So he believes in all the tenets of the tulip, as well as all the sola scriptura. He went into
the 5
detail
solas
about it in his
nice
5 solas, which he's willing to go into further detail on another podcast. But we were just starting to pivot the conversation to our
towards
topic
wrestling,
evening, which is wrestling.
Towards
when
wrestling.
You came back, so here we are.
Yay!
So you kind of came back at a good time.
And we had started talking about this week's Monday Night Raw, which specifically the debut of the Wyatt 6. And for those who are watching who think I'm saying the number 6, I am not. It is the Wyatt 6, S-I-C-K-S.
C-K, yeah.
I believe, however, on their merch that they're going to be selling for the WWE, instead of an S, it is going to be an actual 6, which I take to believe that there is going to be a 6th member to join the faction, whether or not or who that is going to be. I have my theory. I think it's going to be Alexa Bliss because she was part of the Wyatt family when Bray Wyatt was still around.
All right. So before we get too deep into that, I think Nathan has something he wants to ask and or say here.
Well, I was gonna make a joke. So they are now the 6X. If you're doing 7, the movie, we had 7 as in there, making a joke.
There you go.
I don't think I know that movie.
It's okay.
So it's about the Zodiac Killer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
I have heard of him.
It's
Yeah, it's got Brad Pitt in it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so for to bring up Nathan to kind of bring him up to speed here real quickly, there was a wrestler named Bray Wyatt. He that's not, of course, not his real name. He's Brian Rotunda. Was that his?
Wyndham Rotunda.
Wyndham Rotunda. Thank you. He is the son of IRS. Who used to be IRS. Older wrestler, used to run around back in the classic WWE days. Anyway, he was different characters there for a while. He was Husky Harris, a couple different other ones, but he really made it his own as Bray Wyatt. Started out kind of as a cultish figure, leading what is known as the Wyatt family. They had a lot of good storylines. Then he kind of went away for a while, came back as a character known as the Fiend. Had a run there for a while, left again for a little
Now I
while.
know the Fiend, kind
Yeah,
of.
the Fiend. Then he left for a little while again, then came back for a short time, and then eventually had to leave again. Unfortunately, he got sick, caught COVID, I believe, at one point, and got really sick.
Mm,
And then I believe wasn't it COVID? I know that's what
no,
he
he
died
had an
of.
under he had an underlying heart condition.
Right,
I
right.
actually, you know what? I think you might be right. You might be right. He did contract COVID, but that is not
Yep.
what ended up leading to his
No,
passing. It
no. That wasn't his
exacerbated
passing.
it
Yeah.
because of his
But anyway,
underlying heart condition.
right.
He was set
So
to
he was.
return. He was set to have a match at WrestleMania 39,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
unfortunately, when he passed,
Yeah. Yeah. He passed away, and so his brother is Bo Dallas. That was his original name. That's coming in. He was actually years ago. He was already part of the WWE in his own gimmick. His tagline being "You got to believe," and it was a thing. It went over pretty well for a
That is
minute.
like the worst dad joke ever.
Yeah, it was very cheesy. It was very cheesy. But anyways,
well,
he had been away for a while. Go ahead,
I
Christian.
was just gonna say it's either you believe in Bo Dallas or you believe in
Yeah,
Joe Hendry.
yeah. So either way, had been out of the business for a while. Of course, Bray passed away, and they wanted to find a way to kind of honor Bray. There was already talks of this family or this White Six being formed before he passed away, and they were going to debut, but they kind of put it on ice for a little while. Well, they finally came and they finally debuted, and it's a cast of characters. Some of them have connections to the original White family. One being Eric Redbeard, if you will, or Eric Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the original White family, along with the other guy. What's his name?
Dexter Loomis.
No. The original White family. Luke Gallows, not Luke Gallows. The guy, the
Oh,
other
Luke
guy passed
Harper.
away. Luke
Luke
Harper. Thank you.
Harper. Yeah.
Luke Harper. Luke Harper, who actually went on to pass away as well, but before Bray Wyatt, he had a lung issues. Ended up having some kind of, maybe was it fibrosis, maybe cystic fibrosis or something like that. Anyway, he ended up passing away. So they finally brought the White family in or the White Six, sorry, this past Monday night to great fanfare, if you will. And they're kind of using it as a way to honor Bray Wyatt as well as Luke Harper. And if you're a wrestling fan, there were some context clues that was given, like the guy Uncle Howdy, which is being played by Bo Dallas. He was wearing a glove that said Bray. Um, Eric Redbeard or Eric Rowan, who's playing a character, he was his sledgehammer was a throwback to his Bludgeon Brothers days with Luke Harper, and you got other little things here and there. So it's going to be a pretty cool storyline. Looks like it's going to be a pretty cool storyline. And I agree with you, by the way. There's two theories, or primarily theories that I'm hearing about the whole sixth member. Either that it's Bray Wyatt's spirit, or that Alexa Bliss is going to eventually be involved. I kind of lean toward the Alexa Bliss camp as well.
Well,
Um,
it could.
but
I also think it could also be Braun Strowman. But the reason why I'm leaning less towards Braun Strowman is because they are starting to push him for his own storyline
right,
against the Judgment Day.
right, that's true.
I think that they're going to give him a world title match at some point. It's either going to be after Money. Well, it's not going to be SummerSlam because SummerSlam is going to be and Gunther and Damien. Which, really quick, for those who watched the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view, I hope you were as mad about that as I am because Randy Orton was cheated because his shoulder was up. He was not fully pinned. But because Gunther technically won King of the Ring, he gets his world title match at SummerSlam, whether it's going to be against Seth Rollins or it's going to be against Damian Priest we won't know until after July 6th.
So Nathan
So
over here is looking like this is a lot of information to process. So I'm curious what's going through
it
his
is,
mind
and
right now.
it goes into a question I have. So you guys know a lot of wrestling. What got you guys into wrestling? Into just enjoying
That's a good
it?
question.
I'll let
ahead,
Crad
Christian.
answer
I'll go
first.
Okay, that'll work. Either way, age before beauty. No, I'm kidding. Um, no, well, for me, growing up, I grew up. I think I'm probably older. I know I'm older than I know I'm older than Nathan. I feel like I'm probably older than the Christian assassin there. And so I grew up in the '90s, and so this was still an area of time where wrestlers held their kayfabe a lot tighter. It was still seen like a lot more of a realistic thing. You didn't
Mhm.
see good guys and bad guys riding together or hanging out together or whatever else. They really protected their gimmick, so to speak. And so, to see these really, big dudes on television, beating the crap out of somebody that was representing something bad or evil kind of fascinated me. And of course, I grew up, I guess you would call it, in the golden age of wrestling. A lot of people would call that, with the likes of Hulk Hogan and early on The Rock and Shawn Michaels was a big. I really liked Shawn Michaels when I was growing up. Or Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick
Yeah,
Foley. Just the names continue. Even older wrestlers, even some of past wrestlers that were kind of at the edge or end of their careers. Sergeant Slaughter,
Ric Flair.
Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Sting. Sting was another big one for me growing up. You had the WCW versus WWE wars. You had ECW. You had the territories was still a little bit of a thing there. So it was
Right.
fascinating to me to see these people do these athletic things, and be these characters and you know charismatic people, that I wasn't. I was a fairly small geeky kid, and so these people that I watched on TV or heard about or watched these stories kind of unfold kind of represented maybe a side of me that I couldn't really access in real life. And so I guess I would kind of use my imagination, to see what's going to happen next week, because back then you're really following the storyline like it's real. Did
Right.
something real, like I remember when growing up, uh, Christian Sash. You may remember this. You remember when I believe it was Kane and Shawn Michaels was in a feud, and Kane he put a chair around Shawn Michaels' neck, and he stepped on it and crushed. Kayfabe crushed his voice box, and blood was like coming out of his mouth. And I was like,
I
"Holy crap!
yikes!
I
Did he?
think
Did
I
he
remember
really?"
seeing stuff about that because honestly, like
Yeah.
I myself am a newer wrestling
Right.
fan.
Right.
Though my friend Wesley, he would call me. He doesn't consider me a wrestling fan per se. He prefers to call me a sports entertainment fan because I watch WWE for the entertainment value. I watch WWE for the for the storyline. It just helps that there's
Right.
wrestling involved.
I got you. But yeah, so stuff like that would kind of get my imagination going. Like, you know, part of me knew it wasn't real, but there's part of me like, but what if? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, it's like
So that was kind of
what
why
if
I
this
got
actually
into it.
happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you, Christian? Why do you just said you kind of touched on it. You watch it for the entertainment value a little bit.
Yeah. So I didn't watch WWE on a regular basis at all when I was a kid. I didn't even know it existed, um, except for like every once in a while, my dad would bring it up. Like whenever he and my mom would talk about how they met, because my dad when he was in the Marine Corps, they went to a Burger King where my mom was working at the time, and he was wearing an NWO shirt, a New World Order shirt, one of the classic black and white ones, um, and he. My mom makes a comment saying that he needs to iron his shirt, and she was trying to flirt with him. That was her way of flirting, and somehow it worked because otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Right.
But anywho, like my dad, he grew up in the 80s and 90s. He watched wrestling when he was a kid. Well, less when he was a kid and more into his adulthood when he joined the Marine Corps. So he watched a lot of the Attitude Era. He got really super into that. But then once he started having kids, he just started weaning away from watching WWE. Then when I get into my own, I downloaded TikTok back in 2020. I've been on it since then. And over the course of time, just clips of WWE, like SmackDown or Raw, would show up on my For You page. And some of the stuff would be funny. Other stuff would be like, hey, this look at this really cool move that this guy just pulled. And it got me intrigued. I started I didn't have cable at the time, so I couldn't watch Raw or SmackDown live. I just had to be able to catch up on it on like Twitter and or TikTok, right? Whenever I would be able to see updates by content creators posting clips and stuff like that. So when that stuff started getting, more on my For You page, on my feed, I couldn't look away, right? I had to know what was going to happen next. I had to know. Like when Sami Zayn was still in the bloodline and that whole storyline was still panning out, like that intrigued me because, and especially the fact that Sami Zayn was able to make every member of the bloodline break character. With Jay just isn't feeling very Usi.
Yeah.
That cracked me.
I think I've seen that.
Up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sami Zayn was a hilarious character back then. I say back then; that was a year ago.
Way back in the day.
To some people, that's a long time. A lot of people.
That's fair.
Question. Yeah, so talking about just wrestlers, did it blow your guys' mind when you guys saw Macho Man Randy Savage and Spider-Man, the first one?
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember
He's
that.
Bonesaw. He's Bonesaw.
That's right.
I forgot he was in the
Bonesaw.
first Tobey Maguire film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Which is weird.
Well, I mean, in fairness, like you want to talk weird, like it wasn't even the first time that a WWE wrestler was in a film. Like Hulk Hogan was in a movie.
Yeah.
He actually produced.
He was in several movies.
He was in Rocky, I believe. Sugar Lips or something
Rocky?
like his name. Yeah, I believe.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
The only wrestler I know that was in a Rocky film was Mr. T.
I'm gonna double check that.
Hogan was in 3?
Which one was he in? Was it 3?
I guess my friend Wesley says it was 3. I mean, he's more of a wrestling history person than I am.
Yeah, he was in 3. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah,
I don't think I've seen Rocky 3, so maybe that's why.
He was Thunder.
I will say this: if I remember correctly, the first wrestler in WWE to go from WWE to leave the business and go to Hollywood was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
No, it was Hulk Hogan.
Was it Hogan?
Yeah, Hogan did it.
I would disagree
Hogan
with that.
was
Actually,
doing it in like the 90s.
I would disagree with that and quote that it
Commando,
was.
Mr. Nanny, no holds barred.
Well, it was Hulk Hogan being one, but if you remember the famous line, I'm not going to quote it verbatim because it's a cuss word, but I'm here to kick butt and chew gum, and I'm all out of chewing gum.
Chew bubble gum.
You know who said that?
I think I know the movie, but I don't know the guy.
Roddy Piper.
Was that Roddy Piper?
What movie?
Yep.
The one
Roddy
where
Piper.
it's I'm here to kick butt and chew bubble gum.
Yeah, They Live is the name of that movie.
They
Roddy
Live
Piper was in that.
Is the name of the movie. They Live.
I must
He was
misremembering
also
that
I
line
came
then.
here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all in
Yeah,
bubble gum.
there you go. Sorry for the cuss word,
Hey, I
ladies
got
and
this
gentlemen.
blurb.
That's the uncensored version there, but
I just ain't true to the.
There we go.
Though, if you want to get super technical, that word is in the Bible to describe a donkey.
not in that context though. I'm pretty sure he wasn't
That
there to
is
kick
fair.
donkeys.
In that context, yes.
That is a fair point.
Yes.
But anyway,
in any event,
so
any event.
But yeah,
there has been a
honestly-
history of wrestlers crossing over
Yeah.
to do movies.
So
But anyway, to get back into what I was asked, unless Nathan, you wanted to say something real quick. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna make a comment. I don't think there's like one good wrestler that's been in like a good movie, because either their performance is passable or memorable in the fact that it's bad. Like,
I mean, The
Rock
Rock in the
says
Fast
Rock
and Furious.
is like a movie.
I would say Rock in the Fast and Furious movies did really well.
Yeah, the
in
Rock
my
has had
opinion.
some
Okay, but
pretty good
he's
roles.
just the strong guy.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe
no,
John
he's really
Cena.
not.
I liked him better.
John Cena did good in Fast 9. Well, I can't say that. I haven't seen Fast 9.
He was in Bumblebee too.
I have seen that.
He's
That
in
one
Bumblebee.
was. I wasn't a huge
That was, like,
fan
his
of his
one of
performance
his
in
first
that
roles.
one. That John Cena in Bumblebee, that was he's the strong guy.
John Cena's good. His
Um,
daddy's home too.
John
My
Cena's
friend
also
Wesley.
in Suicide Squad, I believe.
Yeah. Hashtag,
Oh, yeah, he was.
John Cena
Peacemaker.
Mask.
John Cena. No,
No.
nobody.
For
Nobody
correction.
could really.
Correction.
Nobody could really replace. Like every time you have a movie with what's his name, Jim Carrey as the
And I'm not
lead, and then
talking-
you make
I'm
a
not talking about the
sequel
Jim
and
Carrey
he's
version.
not hit. Huh?
I'm not talking about the Jim Carrey. There's Mask the cartoon, MASK, Mobile Assault and Strike Command, because his character that he plays is a mask character. Just threw in.
Interesting.
They're like, let's see if the hardcore fans can remember this,
Right.
because Hasbro at the same time was like connecting Transformers and masks together. So in the comics,
Yeah.
So.
Well, that and also like Sergeant Slaughter also voiced the titular character
J.Joe.
in G.I. Joe. Yeah. If I remember correctly, he showed up season 3, and he's the third Marine to have joined the G.I. Joe squad.
It might have been the movie and then season 3, because they had a movie in between seasons 2 and 3, like Transformers. I think Sergeant Slaughter was. Yes, I think Sergeant Slaughter's in the movie because they use his blood for Serpentor. So I think
That could have been the case.
but roughly around that time, yeah.
Which Serpentor?
Because he's like the coolest warrior.
Serpentor. Wow, that guy he's a character. Not super bright.
How we're jumping.
We're totally
all over like different places in wrestling.
All over.
It's like over here we're on movies, and over here we're on TV
works.
shows, and here we are.
Which
right.
It's funny.
fine.
So they just It's funny though they just re-released that Sergeant Slaughter figure in the J. Joe Classified line, and then like Sergeant Slaughter, like I don't think he sued Hasbro. He's like, hey, you can't release it the way you're releasing it because in the package he doesn't have his glasses or the hat. Like you have to put it on. He's like, no one will recognize it's me without the hat and the glasses. So you have to have it in package that way, or something like that. I was like, that's stupid.
I mean, that makes sense. But here's the crazy thing, right? Is that yes, he started out as Sergeant Slaughter, a Marine Corps drill instructor. But then it wasn't after 9/11. It was after Desert Storm, or during Desert Storm, I believe it was, that he became Muslim.
He started out as Pretty Boy Bob Remus.
If you heard what my friend Wesley said, he started out as Pretty Boy Bob Remus, then became Sergeant Slaughter, then became the Iraqi, whatever the heck you wanted to call it. Yeah, basically a traitor, a deserter. which
Interesting.
made absolutely no sense to do. And like that was one of the strangest heel turns that I had ever heard of. Like you go from Patriot, amazing, like one of the best of the best, because if you're a Marine Corps drill instructor, you are forging one of the best service members in the United States military. And then you go and betray your country? Granted, it was for character, it was for a storyline, but what?
It was Vince's idea.
Yeah.
Of course.
And by the way, if you want to watch something that's freaking hilarious, like old school WWE, go watch the really bad music videos. Those are stinking. You know what I'm talking about, Kristen Session?
I think so.
Like back in the day when for some reason I guess Vince McMahon got on a like really weird music video kick and used like Hulk Hogan and like all the old Junkyard Dog and all the other ones, and they did like really bad cheesy music videos. You need to go back and watch those. They're stinking hilarious.
What?
I'll definitely have to look that up.
Oh, you gotta check it out. Matter of fact, there's a way to share the screen right now. I would totally show it. But anyway, actually, I think I can, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. But it's freaking hilarious. I'm telling you, if you want to go back and watch something that's like, wow, why did they do this? Go back and look that up.
Oh yeah,
one of them's called Stand Back. It's wow.
What the heck?
It's out there.
Yeah.
But
it's on YouTube.
It's out there.
You need to. And there's also one of Vince McMahon like dancing.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Actually, maybe he was skinny Vince McMahon, not even jacked up Vince McMahon. I think this is back in the day when he was like a nerd-looking Vince McMahon. So yeah, you can check that out.
Interesting.
Odd. But
okay, so
you were talking about heel turns. Do you guys have like a favorite heel turn?
Ooh, that's a good one. I could go the funny route and say every time that Triple H and Shawn Michaels betrayed each other, of which there are a plethora. Like, okay, here's the funny thing about this, right? Is that back in the Attitude Era, when Shawn Michaels and Triple H were part of the new iteration of Degeneration X, right? They could not trust each other to save their lives. I think it was like almost every other week, either Triple H was giving Shawn Michaels a pedigree, or Shawn Michaels was giving Triple H the sweet chin music. And it was just like they couldn't trust each other, and yet they were still a part of the same faction, and it never broke up for a while, like for a good couple years, if I remember correctly. And it was just wild. Like they would have heel turn after heel turn.
Okay.
And it would be so funny. Sorry.
As far as heel turns, there's a couple. No, you're fine. There's a couple I can think of that kind of stick out in my mind. One is when Daniel Bryan went all like vegan and everything, and had earth loving, and had the cardboard title. Remember that when he switched?
Oh
yeah, for a cardboard title, and was like downing everybody, and all he would say was, because his big thing used to be yes, 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 and he would get where it's like no, 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 and he went to that. And the other one was, you remember when CM Punk had the heel turn where you had like Luke Gallows and the other lady, and they had their head shaved and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah, the Straight Edge Society. That's what I was trying to. Yeah, that was interesting. And of course, one of the biggest ones, I guess, that was a really good invasion angle was when the original NXT invaded Raw and basically took over. Back when they had Husky Harris and Daniel Bryan. And what's
Roman,
his name?
Seth.
Yeah, what's the other one? I cannot think of his name. Dean
Ambrose.
But no, I'm talking about Bad News Barrett.
News Barrett? Yeah, Wade Barrett.
Yeah, that. I'm afraid I've got some bad news, and he would. That was hilarious. Those are good.
Which, real quick, actually, we're talking about heels and heel turns. Crad, I don't know if you watched Clash of the Castle last week.
I didn't watch it, but I kept up with the results.
Yeah, so you know how the world title defense ended.
Right.
CM
Drew
Punk
McIntyre
screwed
got
over
screwed again.
Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre. Here's the ironic thing I see. First, CM Punk, not a good person. Both as a character in WWE, one of the biggest heels, one of the worst heels the WWE has ever seen. But also in real life, not a good person. The crazy thing is that even as a commentator, they're still part of the kayfabe. They're still part of the act. They know the script to a degree. Like there's some things that are left to the imagination in the script that's given to the commentators, because the commentators' reactions have to be real, right?
Right.
So they have to leave out some things. For example, like Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania. Right? Michael Cole did not know, and he just cut out again.
He was so excited he had to leave.
Right. But yeah,
Couldn't
Michael
handle
Cole, Pat McAfee, and Corey Graves, they did not know that Cody was going to win.
Right.
Not even Samantha Irvin knew he was going to win. But the ironic thing is that at Clash of the Castle, Wade Barrett's comment of CM Punk not being basically trash talking Triple H for rehiring CM Punk
Right.
is so ironic, because Wade Barrett as a heel is also up there as one of the worst heels in the WWE. Bad News Barrett did some really crappy things. Like, let's just look at Nexus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nexus did some messed up stuff.
Right.
Like, they attacked just about anybody. They put John Cena out of commission for a couple of weeks. They put Batista out of commission for a couple of weeks. No, I take that back. Wasn't Batista part of Nexus?
You're thinking of the guy that looked like Batista, but he wasn't. He was
Yeah.
very similar. He was like, I want to say his last name is Ryan or Morgan or something, but he looked a lot like. He's basically a Batista clone. What he was with Batista.
But yeah, they put Batista out of commission for a couple of weeks. Back when he left for Hollywood, then came back for a little bit. Which, speaking of Batista, real quick, this is a quick caveat because my brain likes to go in so many different places because of my ADHD. One of the greatest rivalries was the John Cena Dave Batista rivalry. And how many times?
Where's the John Cena Dave Batista movie?
Mason Ryan, by the name, was the
Buddy
name of that wrestler. I just looked it up.
Mason Ryan? Okay.
Yeah, that was his name.
But yeah, so, that rivalry between Cena and Batista lasted for years. Like, their feud, their storyline lasted for a long time, even when they were on different brands. Like, when Cena was on SmackDown and Batista was on Raw, they still feuded.
It still hasn't finished.
And apparently it's still not done, from what my friend Wesley is telling me.
They need to end it with a movie. They need to do a Dave Batista John Cena buddy movie.
Some movie.
They have a Hollywood rivalry.
Which, for those who don't know, Dave Bautista is the guy who plays Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
And
Very
he almost
successful
didn't
too,
play
by the way.
Drax. It was supposed to be
Say what?
Jason Momoa. It was
I said
supposed to
very
be Jason
successfully.
Momoa, and then he said no.
Oh, yeah. Which,
Oh yeah.
this is kind of funny. but I believe it was the second film where Drax says, I can sit so still, and the people don't even know that I'm there."
I'm
And
sure it was John Cena joke.
moves to eat a nut so slowly. And Chris Pratt is just like, "Dude, we can see you eating that nut."
I'm sure he asked James Gunn to put that in to make fun of John Cena in some capacity, or James Gunn was like, you know what, I can sneak this in. I'll write that in because I think it's funny on
Well,
like
and
multiple levels.
here's the great thing about it, right? Is John Cena loves that meme. He loves it.
Of course,
It's one of his favorite things. For those who don't know, one of John Cena's gimmicks in WWE, or his finishing move, is called the Five Knuckle Shuffle. And it starts by him putting his hand up, puts it in front of his face, and the whole crowd says, "You can't see me." He then goes one side to the ropes, shuffles, pow. And it became so much of a meme that anytime someone would take a picture of John Cena, either whether there's someone standing next to him or what have you, they'd be like, "Hey, who's this guy taking a picture with?" Like, if I were to take a picture with John Cena and I post it online, I can guarantee you the comment section would be lined up. "Hey, who's the Christian assassin standing next to you? He has his arm around somebody. I don't understand. Who's sitting there?" They just pretend that John Cena isn't there.
So you can't see.
John Cena, if you want your next movie, you should petition to kick Vanessa Kirby out and you be the Invisible Woman.
I was about to say there's the Invisible Man, yeah.
Or if Universal wants to bring back Dark Universe, you know.
I got it. You know there was that one movie about the scientist who turned himself invisible and then tries frantically to get turned back visible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
My first thought was, for some reason,
Hollow
thinking
Man.
Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four.
That's the joke I was making, because Disney's doing that next, which odd choice.
I'm not a huge fan of who they cast.
I want to be excited.
They should have kept John Krasinski. They should have as Reed Richards, but they did. They cast freaking Pedro Pascal.
No.
Anywho, that is not the topic.
Pulling off topic again.
Doesn't have enough to do. All right, you're back with.
But yeah, so like,
what was I gonna?
I think the last topic we were talking about was a combination of heels and rivalries.
Yeah.
Or heel turns and heel turns and rivalries. I think this is more recent. A lot of people are saying that Cody Rhodes is turning heel based on what happened in his I Quit match with AJ Styles last week. For those who don't know, at the end of an I Quit match, the only way you win is making your opponent say "I quit." Right. And the way that Cody Rhodes won was he had AJ Styles handcuffed to the ropes, and he had grabbed the top part of the steel steps to the ring and was going to smash him over the top of the head of AJ Styles. And just before he does it, AJ's like, "I quit, I quit, I quit." Cody Rhodes wins. His music plays. But then he looks over to his mom, who's in the crowd out there in Glasgow, Scotland, and goes, "Should I do it? Should I do it?" And his mom's like, "Yes." So he takes the steel steps, which are still in his hand, and he throws it at AJ Styles, which is a massive heel move. But he's not a heel. He can't be a heel. And here's why. Is heels throughout WWE talk smack about the crowd. Always.
He doesn't. So
he doesn't. He loves the crowd, and the crowd loves him. they cheered him on when he hit AJ Styles with the steel steps. So Cody isn't a heel. He pulls heel moves. Like, for example, in a promo this evening on SmackDown, it started with CM Punk, even though he's supposed to be on Raw, because SmackDown was in Chicago this week. They let CM Punk go over to SmackDown for the night. In a promo, Bloodline comes out, or I should say, the Bloodline from Wish with Solo Sikoa, the Tonga brothers. They come out and they start cutting a promo with CM Punk. Cody Rhodes comes up, and you know what he's carrying? 2 baseball bats. He throws one to CM Punk, saying, "You want to come into this ring? You're going to face 2 big guys with baseball bats. Who's going to win?" Technically, that could be considered a heel move because he brought weapons to a fist fight.
Right.
Which, I mean, to be fair, he was evening the odds somewhat, or evening evening the odds, because otherwise it was going to be a 3-on-2. But with baseball bats, you can knock one guy over the head. Fake, obviously, for those who don't understand WWE. They don't actually hit people with baseball bats. They hit each other with fake kendo sticks, but not baseball bats.
Yeah.
Well, no, the kendo sticks are made out of plastic bamboo rather than real bamboo, which is what normal kendo sticks are made out of.
When talking about the baseball bat,
and you can,
or they tap them very lightly,
or they just fake hitting. Now, okay, if we want to talk about weapons real quick, there is one that we need to talk about, and if we don't, we would be doing the WWE a very big disservice. And that is Triple H's sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sledgehammer.
That's
his signature. Yeah, that was an actual sledgehammer, and he actually hit Mick Foley's knee with it. Like, he actually hurt him. I don't think he meant to do it on purpose. But that actually happened, and it put him out of commission for a little bit.
How about that?
Like, every wrestler has their signature, right? Whether it's a weapon, whether it's a look, whether it's a move, every wrestler has that one, at least one signature thing. For Cody, it's the Crossroads. That's his number one signature. For Roman Reigns, it's which would you say is more iconic for Roman Reigns, the spear or the Superman punch?
Well, I guess you could almost say which era, Shield Roman Reigns or head of the table Roman Reigns.
Well, I mean, he used
Shield Roman Reigns. I would say probably spear, head of the table, Superman punch.
So yeah, it does change with the gimmick a lot of the time. With Cody Rhodes, he had a total of 5 iterations within the WWE. There's the original Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty Rhodes, nothing super special, mid-card guy, right? Then there was Legacy Cody Rhodes, which, Nathan, you and I talked about briefly before the show. Yeah. Where that was the faction with him, Randy, and one other guy whose name I don't remember off the top of my head.
You talking about Legacy?
Yeah.
You're talking about Ted DiBiase.
Thank you. That guy.
You're welcome.
And then after that, it was Dashing Cody Rhodes, all prim and proper, cares about his appearance, doesn't want to get hurt. Without that, he had the face mask because of undashing Cody Rhodes after he got his nose broken.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
That was number... Okay, I have to reiterate what I said. He has 6 iterations. Because the 4th was undashing Cody Rhodes, where he had the face mask, he had a broken nose, he he was super shy now. He didn't really want to show his face on camera ever because if he felt it ruined his image, all that. And then the fifth was the one that he hated the most, but he still
Stardust.
put his effort in, was Stardust.
Yep, Stardust. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to say this. When I found out about Stardust, I was embarrassed for Cody Rhodes. I really was. Because, like...
They screwed him over pretty much, really.
Yeah. Like, that was just... What? Why would you even do that? Like, Goldust, that worked for him. Goldust is Cody's brother, Dustin Rhodes. His older brother. Mm-hmm. He's older by 10 years, if I remember correctly. Or just over 10 years.
Definitely older. Yeah.
But like that type of character worked for Dustin. That's what got him his big break in wrestling, or in sports. In wrestling and sports entertainment. Cody, that type of gimmick didn't really work with him, but it did give us one pretty decent feud with a celebrity, Stephen Amell.
Yes, I remember hearing about that.
So the whole thing about that was that it was a marketing ploy to help promote Arrow, the CW show Arrow, where Stephen Amell was playing Oliver Queen.
Right.
It wasn't to do that heel show he ended up doing? Because I remember after Arrow he did the show called Heels.
Yeah, no, so Heels started coming out in 2020. Stardust was 2016, 2017.
Interesting.
Back when I think it was season 3 of Arrow, because after that feud between Stephen Amell and Stardust, Cody ended up getting a role on Arrow.
That was beforehand.
Who did he play?
He was on Arrow.
I didn't watch much.
He played a drug lord. I forget the name of his character, but he overdoses on the drug that he's manufacturing, but it doesn't kill him.
Oh, the super drug or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it makes him not feel pain ever. Now he ends up getting killed because he ends up coming back as a zombie, if I remember correctly. But the way that Team Arrow ended up getting rid of him or putting him out of commission was Stephen Amell's character, Green Arrow, took an arrow and severed the tendons on each of his joints. Spoilers for the show if anybody has not seen Arrow, which if you haven't seen Arrow at this point, when it hasn't... 8. It was 8.
Has it been 8?
Well, no, it was an 8-year show.
I don't remember.
And it's been done since 2020.
2020? Yeah. I can't remember.
And then 2021 is when Heel started to come out on Stars.
That's right. That makes sense. Okay.
But, yeah, if you haven't seen Arrow at this point, obviously, if you're not into DC Comics, I understand that. But if you are into DC Comics and you haven't seen Arrow, please, I'm begging you, go see that show. It is a really good show. Gets a little repetitive,
Bringing it back.
But I still love it. Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
I get put onto so many rabbit trails. It is
That's all right. Yeah.
So
terrible.
So speaking of avoiding yourself with wrestling, did you know they did a wrestling Ninja Turtle as a promotion? His name was
I think I remember that
the wrestling turtle that they spelled with a K. Or no, I'm sorry. He's Cowabunga, the karate turtle. He had a black mask, and I can't remember who was in the costume. I can't remember if they just had a no name, or they just.
I
It
don't
was
know.
Chris
I don't know.
Kyle.
I think that was
before. I think that was before my time.
Yeah, this is if it was 80s, yeah. But I read that, I was like, it's like you watch like monster trucks and there's like an additional monster truck there, where it's like weird.
I mean, hey,
Not as
the
weird as like
WWE
Wrestling
has
97.
has done some very interesting collaboration work to promote either their own stuff as well as other people's stuff. Because when they do collaborations like that, the WWE is paying the people they're collaborating with, and the people they're collaborating with also pays WWE to get their to do that stuff. So it's a mutually beneficial situation.
That's
Yeah,
true.
they
I
made
mean,
like
look at what they
3
did with Scooby Doo.
Scooby-Doo movies.
Hey,
Yeah,
Think
Scooby
up.
Doo. I was
Think
got
up.
yeah.
Way to go.
He-Man.
They did that.
He-Man.
Didn't they do that like 3 times with Scooby Doo? They did the monster
Did
truck
multiple
race.
times.
They did
Yeah.
the Demon Bear, and
There's
then
Demon Bear.
because I know the monster
What
truck
was-
one, Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon were the culprits. Or no, sorry, it was
Foreshadowing.
Triple H, It was Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon that were the bad guys. And then in the Demon Bear, Um, it wasn't it some obscure wrestler? It wasn't Bobby Lashley who was the culprit.
Yeah, I can't. I've watched those.
But I know
I don't
Cena
know.
was part of it. Undertaker was part of it. Um, and there was Kane. Kane was part of it. Was part of that one. Which like the story. Let's go on a slightly different tangent to talk briefly about Undertaker and Kane, like that whole storyline where Undertaker and Kane are long lost brothers, that was a storyline for the ages. Because it was the first time in, I think, about a year that people saw Undertaker legitimately freaked out. And his manager,
Yeah, I'm
Paul, it's not Paul
Barrett.
Heyman.
Paul Barrett.
Paul Barrett.
Paul
Paul
Barrett.
Barrett, yeah. He's when Kane debuted, he betrayed Taker and joined Kane. And what WWF did was they basically copy pasted Taker, but to be a little bit more brutal because they had the same move set with very few minor differences. Because Kane, he did the tombstone pile driver. He would do the crossing the arms on the chest as the pinfall. Did the choke slam, all that. And then my friend Wesley, he's telling me that Kane did have a clothesline off the top rope, which you don't see a whole lot of anymore.
Real quick, if you don't mind me cutting you off.
Yeah.
We have been discussing wrestling for a while, so to kind of
Oh,
wrap
yes.
this up a little bit for the conversation tonight, real quickly, Nathan, I know you don't watch a ton of wrestling, but name you're familiar with. What would be your favorite wrestler, Nathan, if you had one, and go?
I like the Undertaker just because aesthetic wise, and I like some stuff he did after he did wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I think he claims to be a Christian. And I think he's talked about it some. I watched some documentaries.
Oh no, he actually is.
About
He is. He is a Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like a lot of his stuff. And who's the other one I was thinking of? There's a couple like aesthetic wise. Now, actually, was going into a question I had, because I had the chance of Chris Zato spoke at my church. Somehow we got him to speak at our church because he's one of those others that claims that's a Christian. He does ministry now. There's another one I can't think of his name. So he spoke
Elias?
at kids camp we went to. Maybe. But this wrestler, he
No.
got into what you get into before you get into WWE, like that those test fights they do before you do
Mhm.
WWE. Essentially, he won and then died of like brain cancer. Like they found
Oh,
he went into one of the fights and they found he had like a brain tumor
wow.
and
Whoa.
they got it out. And then he's like, well, maybe this is what I shouldn't do, and started like speaking and died recently, the last like 10 years of the same thing. Like they thought they got it all. I can't think of his name. So in the episode, if I find the name, because
Well
I can't
then,
think of it, I'll put it up because I can't think of his name.
Hmm.
I remember.
Okay.
well then that's definitely not
Yeah,
Elias
like,
because Elias
No,
is
Elias is
alive
alive.
and well,
Yeah.
and he actually does a
yeah,
lot of Bible studies on TikTok.
Yeah, I saw a
yeah.
random one the
Elias
other
is
day
the
of that.
yeah.
All right. So, how about
But
you,
I think
Christian
those are.
Session? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say those are the ones that are sticking with me for multiple reasons.
This is gonna seem like I'm jumping on a bandwagon, but definitely one of my favorites has to be Cody Rhodes because I've been invested in his story since WrestleMania 39. Like he has wanted to win the WWE Championship for his dad since his dad Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, passed away a few years ago. Because that was the one title that in Dusty Rhodes' career he never won. He's
Right.
won the tag team champs. He's won the IC title. He's won the US title. He's won the world heavyweight. He's just never
Right.
won the undisputed WWE title.
Right.
And so when Cody won at WrestleMania 40 and finished his story, it was just like, holy crap. Not to mention the fact that everything that happened in that match, Cena showed up, Undertaker showed up. Obviously, we knew The Rock was going to show up because of what happened the night prior. You know, there's bloodline
Right.
rules, so no disqualifications. It was either pinfall or submission. Um, but you had Cena, you had Taker, you had Rollins, who showed up to the Shield theme and in Shield attire with
Only
a
lasted
steel
5 seconds.
chair, which lasted 5 seconds
Let's
exactly.
5 seconds.
And then Roman, he lost track of what he actually needed to do. He took that steel chair, put it to Seth Rollins' back because he never truly got his revenge for what happened when Seth Rollins turned heel and betrayed the Shield for the Authority. But yeah, I'd have to say Cody Rhodes for sure.
Nice.
Don't blame me there.
Nice.
Myself, I will probably go. I'm going to go a lot older school than you on that. I would say two that I really respected from back in the day. One being Mick Foley because he was willing to put his body through almost anything for the fans. I mean, you can't go wrong with the first Hell in a Cell match with him and Undertaker. Still a classic to this day, which really put his career on, you know, on point, I guess, would be that match. Of course, he had a lot other matches too with Vader and other people that were just crazy back. He just did a lot of crazy things, and he's a funny guy. Two being Shawn Michaels because he was quite a redemptive arc there. Of course, he himself is a Christian as well. Went from being like a terrible father and a terrible person, basically, backstage and everything, to someone that has been highly respected, and of course now is in charge of NXT creatively. So really big props to him. So I would say those are two that I definitely enjoyed watching and looking up to. Current day, of course, you can't argue with John Cena and his body of work and all the things he's done for the company. He was the it guy for a long time. Randy Orton being another one, really strong contender there. Done a lot of things with his career. Of course, I'm an underdog lover of sorts. So someone like a Daniel Bryan that came along and was not a huge buff guy, but was very athletic. Rey Mysterio is another one. Been around the business a long time, and of course had a lot of good feuds and Eddie Guerrero. We lie, we cheat, we steal. Viva la raza, all that good stuff. So there's a lot of good wrestlers out there, really. But yeah, on a non-wrestling related topic, I'm going to kind of bring this down to a close for the show tonight. I think for the podcast because we've been going for a while. But I'm curious, the Christian Assassin. Explain your name. I think I know partly what it's about.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, I believe.
Yeah.
But explain your name.
Yeah. So, if you haven't gathered by now over the course of this hour and a quarter long conversation, I am a nerd.
No.
No, not any of us.
I don't know if the
Shocker.
glasses give it
Don't
away at
look
all.
at the wall behind me. Don't look at the wall behind me.
But no, I'm a nerd, and one of my favorite video games to play is Assassin's Creed. Absolutely love the storyline to the point where I have made it pretty much my entire online persona. I helped found and run a Christian Discord server myself called the Christian Assassin Brotherhood. It is meant to be the Christian Assassin's Creed Discord, essentially. It's a Christian it's a community. It is a Discord community for Christians by Christians. And while it is a very silent Discord group right now, because almost nobody talks in it, it's still there. And you can find
Really,
that
they're
on
not
my
talking
website.
about the new one.
No,
Really?
I mean, I want to.
Assassins or
I want to. I mean,
No one's
I
brought
want to
up
play
the
the
new
new
game.
I want to play that game because it's Japan. I love Japan. I love Japanese culture.
And an unrelated note, real quick, I'll let you back to explain your name. But they're currently having a contest to be able to voice a character for that game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Really?
interested in that, check out the
Have we
official
let
TikTok.
Strange know?
I don't.
we let
Oh, that's a
Strange
good
know?
point. We do need to let Strange know because he can.
I
enter
actually
it
need
if
to
he
do.
wants
let Strange know.
I need to do one of those because I would love to do that. Plus, I kind of want to be a voice actor myself. So
Yeah, Strange, which you may meet in a future episode. He's big into voice acting and things. So he's part of the. I saw earlier on the God First Geek Second. You were talking with Sketch. He's part of the Kingdom streamers that you may be a
yeah,
part of pretty soon. So you'll meet him either way.
Yes.
But
yeah,
anyway,
I'm in
back,
their chat
Yes.
now.
Yeah, you'll meet him.
Um,
Oh, nice.
but yeah,
Go
so
ahead, Noah.
I took the fact that I am a Christian, and then I combined it with the fact that I love Assassin's Creed, and turned it into the Christian Assassin. I have gotten a lot of questions like, "Hey, isn't that kind of ironic to say that you're the Christian assassin?" But I would point out that in the English language, something like the Christian assassin could mean two different things. Number one is that I'm an assassin who mainly goes after Christians, or it could mean that I am a Christian who is an assassin.
Okay.
Right? Because think of it like this: Ezio Auditore. He was Italian, so he was Roman Catholic. He was a Christian, and he was an assassin.
Right. Right.
At least one can infer that he was a Christian because he was Italian during the Holy Roman Empire. And Christianity was the predominant religion in the European area.
One could infer.
Right, one can infer. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got my name. And I've just kind of made it my personality since.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool. There you go.
Nice.
Nathan, anything you want to finish up with here this evening? You got any other questions? Comments,
I'm trying to.
concerns?
All I know is I'd like to have Chris Azeto on the podcast. I sent him a message on TikTok because he's on there. He was on a cruise and was like trying a bunch of food on the cruise. I was like, hey, you want to come on? He didn't reply back. Though we do have a guest for next week, Crad.
Okay.
Because when
got?
trying to find someone else to be on here, like hold on, I had their name pulled up. least I told them they said they can be on next week. As another fellow podcaster, Nerds and Jesus. So the mostly capitalized.
Okay.
I've watched one of her episodes, so she is more than welcome to come on next episode. Her and I were talking earlier about coming on, so
Nerds and Jesus.
hope
Okay.
that hope they can come on. So if you enjoyed whatever this episode is, because apparently we've been live streaming the whole time. I don't know what happened
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't
Yep.
set
We
up
have.
that stuff. I mean, so I kind of
And
I set up
recording as well,
future
so.
things to test and recording. So yeah, hope you guys live enjoyed me dropping in and out of the call. That's something that happens with my computer. Though I keep saying I'm getting a new computer, I am getting a new computer soon. I just have to tie my brother down to get the parts ordered, and then I can pay him to do it. So that'll be
Yeah.
happening very soon because I really need a new computer. I was fighting with
I
my
mean,
computer
hey,
this
having
morning,
having
so I
a
knew it was
good
going to be an issue.
pop is
I
always.
mean,
a good
I was
thing.
telling you. I mean, I was telling you what my computer is earlier. So
Yeah,
you know,
and I still feel sorry for you.
yeah, I don't know what my computer is, but if you want to watch my stuff when my computer isn't just trying to struggle, follow me at ft_food reviews on most social media platforms. A video that's coming out. Wild Bill. They have a ring pop soda. That video should be up soon. And a bunch
Oh,
of other
you like
videos,
Bill
stay
Bills
tuned for
too?
that. When FYE has it, because now FYE
You know you can
has
order
it,
their
because that's the
stuff
only place that
online, right?
stocks it around me.
You can
Yeah,
order
I
their
don't
soda
want a full
online.
12 pack if I don't like it. I mean, they sent me a variety pack and I went through it for videos. I spread it out for like a year, so I need like yeah. So stay tuned for that. You can follow us, Long Speed Party Podcast, on TikTok and other social media platforms, YouTube, all that stuff. Our TikTok videos have been doing well lately. They have like 700 views lately,
Sweet.
which good because
It's
for some
not
reason
bad.
TikTok decided to crap the bed on the editing platform, so it was like 0 or 2 views for like 2 weeks until I learned this because I finally saw the email about it that what TikTok was doing. Thanks, TikTok. I really appreciate it. You can also check out the God First Geek Second Discord. Links down below, where we all have conversations in multiple channels that are there. Also, I might be on a future podcast, not this podcast. It's actually a patron podcast. If you're a fan of Transformers, I'm in there. So if you happen to be in that group, I'll be there. So
And by the way, on an offhand note, real quick, on an offhand note, I'm totally watching our live
yes.
stream right now on YouTube, and there's a delay, so it's really
Uh-huh.
weird because I'm watching myself do actions that I did like 10 seconds ago. So that's kind of really
Oh,
strange.
okay,
But anyway,
cool.
go ahead. Yeah.
Interesting. So, Bullhorn, where can they find you? I was talking to you, Christian Assassin, because all I can hear is it sounds like a bullhorn.
Oh, I am so sorry. Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, YouTube,
you're
and
fine.
Kick at the Christian Assassin Gaming, which and I will send you the link to my website.
Yes.
Either by the end of before I go to bed, or tomorrow afternoon, depending on when you plan on releasing the actual video for this.
The video I'll post Wednesday. So if you have it to me by Wednesday.
Okay. But hopefully I should
Then
have
I'll
it
post
sent
it.
to you. I should have it sent to you by tomorrow afternoon, at the very latest.
No, you're good.
But you can find all of that on my website, thechristianassassin.com, where you can also find my merch and the link to freshenUpHydration.com, where again, if you use code assassin1138 at checkout, you will get 10% off your entire order for their entire selection of sugar-free energy and hydration drinks.
Nice.
Well, that's been fun, boys.
And Craig, you're just here. Yep.
I'm just here.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll make something of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I am other places, but you never know where.
Oh yeah.
Sneaky. Oh, yeah. But I will say, I do appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. It's been a blast.
Yeah. Happy to have you.
Oh, you're welcome. So we usually have a tagline, but I can't remember it. I forgot to write it down.
We never can, and Strange is always gone.
Remember,
or not Strange, but Silly.
they're both gone. They've both been gone. What are you talking about?
But he always said he's the keeper of the tagline. Silly is.
Life.
But it's something
I know.
like
It's what do we
it's something along like the 3 things you don't talk about, which is like religion, politics, and something else. And this is the podcast where we talk about all 3.
Yes. Something like that.
This is Ryan Shane, if you recall the longest